Is everybody there? Hello, everybody. Are you there? Make sure you comment if you're here. I don't know.
Angie's already there.
Angie, yeah. Angie's been there for an hour. Yeah. Welcome, everybody. Oh, here we go. No, I don't know if there's any more comments popping up. I'll try and sit on look on my phone. Yeah. Yes. So I'll get to the banners one. Hopefully people will start commenting. Here we go. Well, first of all, we'll say welcome to Eric, to our Plodalong. Welcome to our show.
Thank you so much. It's really exciting to be here.
Are you prepared for what's going to happen? All the conversation, everything like that? No, I don't. It's going to be fun, trust me.
Probably. Yeah, this is great.
Eric's like, what have I signed up for?
He doesn't know, does he? Bless him. Right. So yeah. So how is everybody in the comments? So we've got to see some comments popping up. I'll just say hello to everybody.
Yeah, it's Jennifer Loves Books. Hello.
Okay. Hi, Jennifer.
Hi, Anne. Hey. Aw.
And hey, Kit.
Hi, Kit.
We've got all the diehards here.
Yeah, these are the regulars, Eric. These are the people. Hi, Charlie.
Charlie.
Hi, Charlie.
And hey, Kate. Kate is lovely as well. She's another regular as well.
Yeah, she's always here, bless her.
Yay.
So, how are you all this evening then?
Super excited to have Eric here. So yeah, I'm excited to grill you a bit, Eric, on your opinions of the Women's Prize and how you've gotten on, and I'm sure lots of people in the comments are gonna have lots of questions for you as well.
Yeah.
So.
Well, I'm excited to geek out about it. So
really fun. Before we get into all the Women's Prize chat with you, we've got like 3 questions or 3 things that we always ask every guest, kind of thing. Okay.
Okay.
So we'll start with the one I messaged you about, which is, can you tell us what your last 5-star read was? Or if you don't do stars, just tell us what your last favourite book was by an author, by a female author.
No, I've got into doing stars more in the past couple of years, even though I think, well, it was difficult because like early on, I would just be like, oh, if I enjoyed a book, yeah, 5 stars, and so I was sort of giving so many things 5 stars, and I'm being very liberal in my use of stars, but I've got a bit harsher in my critiques recently. So actually, I went and had a look when you asked me that, and my last 5-star read of a book written by a woman was Vista Chinesa by Tatiana Salem Levy, a short Brazilian novel about very serious subject matter about a woman that is experiences a rape, and her recovery process of that, of trying to find and persecute the person responsible, and but it's handled in such an artful and moving way. It really gave me such a different perspective of this kind of trauma than I've ever read in a book before. So it's one of those books that's like really difficult to recommend and say like, hey, you should read this novel, about, because I know like it might be like a bit trepidatious going into it, but I think it's so incredibly done and really moving, and it's really stuck with me. So
that's fantastic. What did you say the title was?
It's Vista Chinesa.
I feel like we're going to write this down.
Yeah.
I was trying to find my copy of it. I'm not sure where it's gone, but it's I was going to hold it up, but yeah, it's by an author called Tatiana Salem Levy. It's published by Scribe Books, UK.
Oh, that's good. I'll write it down. I'll put, for people watching the future, I'll write what it is. I'll find it and then put it in the description. So that's no worries. So I'll just go back to the comments a bit and say hello before we ask you your next bit. So we've got Magda. Say hi, Magda.
Hi,
So we've got Jennifer. I hope Eric isn't too prepared. Oh, there's something.
No. Well, I prepared in that I got all the books to have stuff.
I think you're the first guest that's done this. You're the first guest that's done that.
We'll do that. Definitely.
I feel like you should get bonus points for that alone. So,
and that's actually going to help in the challenge.
Oh yeah, that's true.
Oh my gosh. So exciting.
We've got Kelly. Hi, Kelly.
Oh, hi, Kelly.
Hi, Kelly.
We've got Sarah. Sarah was one of our guests before. Hi,
Oh,
Sarah.
hi, Sarah. Yay.
Oh, sorry. Oh, there's my sister Emily. Sorry.
Hi.
Oh, hi, Emily.
And then we've got Imogen. Hi, Imogen. Yeah. So, right. Sorry, Eric. Right. Right. Where we go. So the next thing we ask you, I think this is probably the most important. I think you would agree out of all of the things.
The
Girls
most
will
important
agree.
question.
This is the thing that kind of I know we haven't prepared you for this, Eric. The reason is that this is like something that we get into. It's very big controversy every single week. So whatever you say means, in theory,
a rubbish answer.
Yeah, you could get booted off this chat. This is the time where Eric could get booted off. I mean, that would be a big shock, but, you know. So the question is, what is your favourite pizza topping?
Oh. It would probably be, so I'm very lucky in that my husband makes us homemade pizza, and we used to, like in our early days, love going to Pizza Express, and one of our favorite pizzas there was the Veneziana, and so he basically recreates that at home every time. I would probably say buffalo mozzarella, but also, and this might be a bit controversial, and I hope it offends nobody, but during the season, we love to have figs on pizza as well, which I know sounds quite weird, but it works so well. It's really delicious. I hope that's not too perverse.
Not said pineapple, so you're safe. I think
that's worse than pineapple.
I think it's worse.
Is that with goat's cheese? Because fig and goat's cheese work together, don't they?
Yeah, it does. I mean, we usually just have it with mozzarella, and it works really well. But I can't remember where we first got the idea from, but it's we started it, and now we're like addicted.
I can
whenever figs are in season.
Yeah, Jem's judging you hard here. And if any fruit, she does. I don't think she thinks
unacceptable behaviour.
Have you tried it? You
haven't tried it.
You've tried it.
But you shouldn't put fruits on pizza.
It's not as bad as pineapple, surely. I think pineapple's worse. Like, no, pineapple's worse. Like,
yeah, generally, I mean, I'm like a purist with my pizzas. I like tomatoes, cheese, a good crust, and I'm sort of happy with it. But so like in general, I'm not too in favor of toppings, but figs are a thing that my husband.
I feel that we should explain to Eric as well that Gemma has been offended by every single answer. No pizza has been good enough for Gemma as yet. So don't worry.
So funny. So we'll go to the comments. Right, I'll try and scroll up a bit because there we go. I'll try and scroll up a bit. There's been a few comments.
We always get some interesting pizza comments every week.
Yeah, it's all about the pizza. We do try and talk about the chips as well, but often it does go into pizza tangents.
So I think one week
I would have had pizza for dinner rather than Chinese. So
so you can have cheese on toast afterwards. It's fine.
We've had that conversation as well.
We had a whole week dedicated to cheese on toast.
So we've got Sarah said that those bookshelves are amazing. I think that we can all agree on that. We're all jealous of your library.
Agree. Hard agree.
Hi, too. Can see.
Oh my goodness!
Wow. Exclusive.
How many of them have you actually read, though, Eric?
Probably about half, because generally the ones that I keep are ones that I'm intending to get to, and I just haven't got to yet. And then there are some other ones that are ones that I feel like I it'll be difficult to find them again. So if I want to keep them on my shelf, like if it's a book I could easily find again, but don't want to read anytime soon, then I'm happy to get rid of it. And then there are some other like personal favorites. I just like always want to have them there as like comfort and to be able to see them.
We can
and
appreciate
go back to them whenever I want to. Yeah.
We can appreciate that. And has said that may come in handy. Oh, the bookshelf.
stack.
The book stack, I think, yeah.
Oh no, the book stack. No, I think they mean the book stack. Yeah, the book stack
Yeah.
next to you, because they know what we're going to ask you next, which I'll tell you in a second.
Jennifer's like, no.
I'm sorry, Eric. I'm really sorry. Charlie knows what's coming. These are people that
Charlie,
watch,
is
they
it
know.
because referring to the pizza question?
I think Charlie is
came
referring
along,
to
"You
the
didn't
pizza
eat
question."
pizza." So
the pizza question. Oh, he thinks it's the pizza question. Oh, yes, that's true.
who
We'll
doesn't
see
eat pizza?
Oh, yeah. That's true.
See, major
Thank you for the great plods for the long events. They're keeping me going through the Women's Prize long list. My eyes looking at my International Booker Prize long list shelf and can't wait to read them next. Oh, bless
Oh
her.
yeah. I could pull out that stack as well if you want to see the International Booker.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, those ones look so good as well. I can't keep up with all the different.
Emily says pineapple roll.
Oh, look at that!
Here we go.
Oh,
Here's the
look,
International
everybody.
Booker as well.
Wow.
So-
Oh, look. So you're so good. Look at you. It's stacked there. I feel like we're going to have to screenshot that and just be like,
I know.
This is like my reading month over the next 2 or 3 months of just like all of these books.
oh, so good. We've got quite a few pineapple comments. Team Pineapple from Sarah.
Hashtag Team Pineapple. What is this?
I feel like it's a hashtag. We've got don't respect the pineapple. Disrespect the pineapple.
The fruit on pizza revolution.
I want to see Jem try fig on pizza. See, someone's on your side, Eric.
Not. Absolutely not.
Try it.
Can we have
try
that
it.
on a live
I know
show?
it sounds crazy.
Yeah, that'll be the next live show. We'll be getting Jem to try fig pizza. And then we'll just do Charlie. It was worth coming to this chat just for this controversy.
Oh, controversial. The hot topics.
Right. So the next thing we have, which I feel really sorry for. I'm so sorry, Eric. I didn't. Right, so what we do is to every single guest, and we have done this to every single guest. You're not the only person. And we're going to give you a 30-second timer to name as many Women's Prize long-listed books as you can, and you don't have to say the author. It can be from across the years since the Women's Prize began. And so you get 30 seconds.
Any book that's ever been listed.
Yes, any book that's been long listed. I mean, Alice will check. I mean, not that she needs to check you, the king of the Women's Prize. But so literally, and with the leaderboard, Jem, do you want to bring out your leaderboard and show you the leaderboard? Get your prop ready for it to show us. So on the leaderboard, Jem, do you want to go through the leaderboard?
Okay, so we've got Jennifer at the top. That's why she was annoyed that you had the whole stack next to you, because she's winning. She's winning with 22. And then we've got Charlie and Scott on 12, Sarah on 7. But Sarah thinks she needs extra points because she was the first one.
She was the first
one. And then Fraser on 5. So you've got 22 to beat, Eric. Where are you going to be?
And I can include this year then.
You can use
this year.
You literally just go through that.
It does feel like an unfair advantage of me. I'll try not to look at them. I could turn them around. I want to play fair, so.
What will happen is Jem will have the timer, and then Alice will write down your books. We'll give you a 5-second whatever warning. We'll give you some seconds just to kind of get your head in the space.
In the zone.
And I'll count. Jem, do you want me to count you down from 5 to press the button if you think? So do you reckon? Are you up for this challenge? How do you feel about this, Eric?
I'm very scared. I'm very bad with time pressure things. I just sort of like freak out. My mind goes blank, and I just.
Honestly, you'll be fine.
I'm willing to give it a go.
Everyone will be like cheering you on. Don't worry.
Definitely.
So do you want me to give you the 5-second countdown, Jem?
Yeah.
So get ready, and then for you as well, Eric. So 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, go.
Okay, the bees. The lacuna. I don't know why I would think of the bees first. How to Be Both. Demon Copperhead. Pod. The Marriage Portrait. homesick, trespasses.
We're doing it.
I don't know why it hasn't gone off, but that was the end of the timer.
Oh, was it? Okay. Oh,
Don't worry, you did really well.
You did well.
Good.
no, I can't believe I thought of the bees first.
That was a random pick to go first. I have
Very
to admit.
random.
And
Ah.
you didn't know this was coming. Like, you're kind of in Sarah's position because you didn't have a clue this was coming. So
Yeah, but even if when I was at school and had like timed exams and things, like no matter how hard I studied, like once that timer hits and then I'd like see it and then I just like stare at the seconds ticking by and just like my mind, just completely goes away.
I would have been the same, honestly, seriously. I would have been the same.
It's a good challenge. Good challenge.
So I'll go through a couple more comments. We've got, do you have a bookshelf ladder from Sarah?
I do. Yeah, I could get it out and demonstrate if you want. Here, let me do that. It'll be fun.
Yeah, go on. Show my viewers, the viewers.
No one's going to say no to the bookshelf ladder.
I mean, honestly, that's
This is
amazing.
Wow,
like
look at that.
Wow,
library
everything.
bookshelf ladder.
Booktube exclusive.
Like a proper old school ladder. Oh, I love the demo. I love the demo.
That's so good.
Oh, thanks.
Thank you. Wow,
Booktube exclusive. I like that.
I know.
Saw it here
It can
first. The
be
ladder.
dangerous though, because it's a fold-out ladder. So once I was trying to get a book like up in the very like top corner, and I couldn't quite because I have a desk here that this computer is on, and I couldn't quite pull the ladder out all the way. And I thought, oh, it'll probably be fine. And I climbed up to the top, and then the ladder collapsed out underneath me.
No.
And I was really lucky in the way that I fell. I like hit my side rather than my head or something. But yeah, I was really badly bruised and actually passed out because I think just like the shock of the pain or like of falling like that, like I just like suddenly passed out and
Oh my goodness.
yeah,
Did you
it was
break
very
anything?
stressful.
Did you break anything?
No, I just had a really massive bruise on my side. I did go to A&E to have it checked out, just to make sure I didn't damage anything internally. But yeah, I thought be like it's going to be my inevitable death, like falling in the library and then like
bookshelf
this stack
injury.
fall on top of me, and I'll just be buried alive. And
Injuries.
terrible.
Oh,
Yeah.
bless you. Bless you. You poor thing. That's horrific. That's so horrific.
Yeah.
Alice, have we got a score?
Yes,
We
you
do
want to
have
say
a
the score so you can
score.
write it on.
Eric
I
got a
must
score
know.
of 8.
8.
Mm.
So that puts you in 3rd position, Eric.
See?
Not bad. A bronze.
all right.
Okay.
That's
Not too
good.
bad.
You're fine.
Good
quickly-
showing.
I'll quickly,
Ta-da!
I'll quickly scroll up to the comments a bit more and then we'll here we go. Everyone's cheering you on, I think. So first of all, we've got Kit that said, Eric just showed his shelves. I literally gasped out loud. Beautiful. I know, I think we all did. I said, love the reading piles, Eric. Yeah, we're so lucky. Well, that's so good. So organised. Go, Eric. Everyone's cheering you on.
Yay.
I have
Charlie
Charlie
said-
sympathising because he's been through the task as well.
He knows how hard it is.
Yeah. Good sport turning your books around. Yeah, you are. Yeah.
So ridiculous. I didn't think more of these that I've read.
I know, honestly, you did really well. Honestly, I'll be exactly the same. So I wouldn't have. Oh yeah, she would have turned the books around. I hope the
I
hosts
don't
are
think
going
we
to
should
take
read
part in the
this
challenge
comment
one
from
day.
Charlie.
Maybe, Charlie, maybe.
Right.
Maybe to
Eric
celebrate the final result, we could do
Yeah.
that.
Maybe.
Yeah, we could.
Yeah.
Eric living the dream with that ladder.
Exactly.
That's an amazing ladder. Right. Okay. Right.
I think
So I'll just
I
write
think
the
the ladder has a lot of love in the comments. Actually, there's
It
about
does.
10 comments for the ladder.
It's such a weird book thing isn't it, of just like having this like fetish for like ladders in libraries. But I mean, I completely have it too. It's been my like long time dream to have a ladder in my library too. So.
I feel like it's like just because it's like Belle from Beauty and the Beast, isn't it? It's like that's
I guess it is.
Like...
Yeah, it's been imprinted on like my imagination that's the ideal. Yeah.
So now we've done all the challenges, should we go on to I'm going to go back over to the banners, and it's kind of like, so what have you read so far from the list?
From the list, I've read almost completely half, because I'm very close to finishing Memphis at the moment. So I've read 8 so far, and 8 to go. So because I've been balancing my reading between the Women's Prize and the International Booker Prize, I've been trying to go back and forwards between the lists. So most years I would have been much more diligent and have read more at this point, but I'm enjoying like the leisurely pace and like sort of discovering them as I go. And I had read, I think, 4 or 5 before the list was announced, so had a little bit of a head start. But
oh, that's good. So you said
have you got a favorite yet, Eric? Have you got a favorite from the 8 that you've read?
Yes, that would be Demon Copperhead, which will win this year. I'm almost completely certain it's going to win. So so that's my. But I don't know. Maybe my mind will change once I've read more of the books from the list. But yeah, that's like my It completely has my heart too. I know how much you
and me.
We all love it.
I'm predicting it to win.
I think out of all of us, I think it's like the unanimous. It's the highest in our like list that we've read unanimously that we've read so far. Even if
right. I think it's just so masterful. I went back because I'd read it in October, November or so, and then a couple of months ago I went back and started to reread some sections of it. Just got completely swept up in it again. I just love how she captures his voice and like his sense of humor and his tenderness, but also he has like flaws to his character which shine through and I think make him really realistic, and just the way she creates this whole world. And I was talking to a friend recently who is from the Appalachian region, and said that she totally gets like his voice and the whole like atmosphere of the place, because I'm not from that region of the world, so I don't really know how authentic or not it is. So it was good to hear from somebody that's actually from the region that it felt truthful to them. So that was, I thought, a great endorsement.
Oh, that's really good. That's really good.
He's such a fantastic character. I love him so much.
Gem's scared to carry on reading in case.
I know, I'm halfway through and things are looking quite good for him at the moment. But Alice told me that in the second half she cried twice. So now I don't want to read the second half because
he doesn't have an easy life.
No.
So did you read the physical
second half?
Did you read the physical? So you three, have you all read the physical copy of this? Because I listened to the audiobook. So that was how.
I read the physical copy, but then when I was going back and rereading some of it, I got the audio. So and that gave like a kind of different feel to the experience.
Yeah, that's why I feel like I want to read the physical book, because I've listened to the audiobook and I feel like just to get the whole picture, because I feel like when you're reading audiobook, I feel like when you've got a physical book in front of you, you can sort of go back. It's easier to go back to listen to like reread passages, whereas I feel with the audiobook you can do that, but it sort of makes it more of a clunky experience. So
it's true.
I'll go over to the comments before here we go. I don't know where I'm going to try and scroll up a bit. Sorry, I'm just going to go here and then go up. I think that's where we were. That's so cool. Thank you. Eric's tale reminding me why I don't get on with ladders. They're weapons.
Proceed with caution. It's practice safety.
And he misspelled it. Oh, I don't know what. Oh, I think he's talking about his don't do.
Oh,
sorry.
Not that comment.
I'm sorry, I didn't spot that because it was hidden behind the new comments section. I'm so sorry, Eric.
The hazards of live shows.
Anyway, I'll scroll down. And hopefully that's hidden. I'm so sorry. We've got,
Right.
yes, currently reading Demon Copperhead. I agree that I think it'll win. There's lots of fans for Demon Copperhead on this
There is. And
chat.
Kingsolver will be the first author to win it twice if she does. won't she?
Yeah.
Oh, that's so exciting.
She so deserves it. She's so awesome.
We've got Kelly.
Yeah, it's amazing.
If you were to add a second and third place after Demon, what would they be? Yeah, so you tell us that. That's a good question, Kelly.
Yeah, it is a good question. So currently, I mean, I do still have 8 to read, but probably, it's difficult. I would probably say Glory and the Bandit Queens.
Loves the Bandit Queens.
Bandit Queens, I loved. Yeah, the Bandit Queens.
I hated Glory.
Yeah, I just read that recently and was really swept away by it. I thought it was so skillful how she balanced the tragedy with like the humor in that book. It really made me laugh in so many parts. But then I thought, like, how is it doing this? Because this really serious things that are going on. But I feel like she still shows like respect to and takes those things seriously. But it's still there's still like a lot of the banter and but also and the way that she structures it and tells the tale. It was really, and there's this ongoing mystery of what actually happened to the husband. Is he going to reappear? And so it was quite thrilling in that way. I have heard some criticism from some people that felt like it did verge a bit too much almost into kind of slapstick humor at some points, which I can kind of see, but I feel like on the whole it was just really well done. I really cared about the characters and their relationships. It's like the best novel about frenemies I think I've ever
Yes,
So-
agree.
I love that book.
Agree.
That was such a great book.
good.
And I want to go back and find out more about the inspiration behind the book. That's like when I read the thing. I know on the long list as a whole, there's lots of books taken from inspirational things on real life events, but this in particular is one I definitely want to go back to finding out.
Yeah, such a fascinating story.
Yeah. So I'll just have a quick scroll down and then we'll ask you about you, because you said about Memphis, and I'll go back and ask you a question about what your feelings are about that in a second. So we've got Magda said, seeing Eric was so excited about it. I read it too. Was hooked from page 1. Yeah.
Demon Copperhead, yeah.
We've got Kelly said, I've read Trespasses, The Marriage Portrait, The Bandit Queens, currently reading Stone Blind, and I want to leave the best for last with Demon Copperhead.
Yes.
Who can
Good
blame?
idea.
Oh, bless. So this is quite a controversial one. Have you touched Pod yet, Eric?
I have not. It is not the highest up on my list to read. I am interested in reading it. I have slight personal reservations for starting
because you've
it.
read the bees, haven't you? I remember you saying about the bees. So is that did you not get on with the bees? I feel like I remember you saying something about this.
No, I really enjoyed the bees. I thought it was really good, and I think she is a really interesting author in how she approaches the animal world and like in trying to so faithfully represent what animal consciousness might be like, really like take us out of ourselves to understand how we can perceive and think about the worlds differently and our relationships with each other. But I don't know if I should talk about this, but my like personal thing about it is that is my interactions with the author herself in that after I read The Bees and I posted about it, and I was very positive about it as a whole. I thought it was really imaginative and fun. And so Layleen Paul very kindly sent me an email thanking me for like posting a review of it and being like a supporter of the book, and which was really lovely to receive. And at the end of that message, she said, if we're ever in an event together, please come up and say hello. I'd like to thank you in person. And so that was really nice. So I went to, when it was shortlisted for the Women's Prize that year, and then I went to the Women's Prize party where the announcement was made. and so that was the year that Ali Smith's How to Be Both was shortlisted and then won the prize. And I was part of a shadow group that was or a group that was a shadow group, a group that was shadowing the prize and reading all the books, and we were discussing them online and coming up with our own predictions and winners. And so we predicted Ali Smith would win, and then she did win. And so at this party, after Ali Smith won, I saw Layleen Paul was like staying at the side and talking with some people. And so I thought, oh, this is a good opportunity. Like she suggested that I should come up and say hello. And so I did. And she said, oh, you've been shadowing the prize and you predicted Ali Smith would win. And she did. Well done for you. And then, like in this very angry tone, and then turned away from me. And I was a bit shocked by that reaction. Just felt it was quite like rude and off-putting. And I fully understand that she was hoping she would win the prize, and so was obviously very disappointed. She was having all of her feelings, and so that's totally valid. But yeah, that just put me off. And but I try to, whenever like I'm reading books, I try to separate like the author from the book. And so I do want to read Pod, and I'm interested in it, and I want to try to read it fully objectively, but I just kind of like had that in my head as well. So even though if I have a personal experience with an author, it probably won't put me off from reading them fully, but it'll mean that I'm just not going to prioritize their books as much as maybe some other books. So.
That's awful, Eric. That is awful. That is not how you treat people, is it?
No.
And
that's disgusting. I think that's really disgusting behaviour. I think grown adults should know better than how to talk to people personally.
Agree.
Yeah, it was just like very awkward. She was like standing there with her publicist, and her publicist like went completely red and was just like didn't know what to do, and like none of us really knew what to do, and so I just sort of like shamefully walked away.
Because you're like the most friendliest person. Why on earth would she do that?
Well, it's just an error, isn't it, to be rude to book reviewers, which is
and she's
an
not the
issue
only one on this.
Tara Stringfellow also has.
I was going to say she's not the only one on this list, is she?
Yeah, I was just because I was watching one of your past episodes a few days ago, and that was the first I'd heard about Tara Stringfellow thing, and so then went and looked it up and was watching the video, and I was like, oh my gosh, this is awful. And yeah, it's been quite a thing recently, isn't it, of discussions about whether authors should be interacting with reviewers or not, and because there's been quite a few bad experiences of authors clapping back against reviewers in a really unfair way. And somebody was just there's a Guardian journalist that's writing an article about this whole subject matter, and she just interviewed me recently about it. And I feel like it's sort of fine if authors want to like interact in the reviewer space, but they really just can't take anything personally and realize that a lot of times readers' responses to books often say as much about them as they do about the book themselves. And so like it's like obviously an author's going to hope that everyone's going to read and love their book, but if you're putting a book out there in the world, you have to accept there's going to be some people that aren't going to relate to it or respond to it positively, and so you really have to take that on board. And it was something I asked Ali Smith about once, because I know with some of her books there have been some like really bad misinterpretations, like actual getting things factually wrong about what is in the books. Like she wrote this wonderful novel called Artful, and which is really moving, where a narrator is describing their grief for their partner who's passed away, and nowhere in that book does it say the gender of that author, but there was several reviews of that book that said like this is about a lesbian relationship, and so it's like people bring their own assumptions to a book and read it in a certain way. And so like I asked Ali Smith, like have you ever felt that you need to go back and maybe correct some of these misconceptions about your book? And she's like, no, not at all. Like once a book is out there, like people are gonna read it and reinterpret it and recreate it for themselves, and that has nothing to do with me. And I thought that was a really like healthy attitude to have. Now, like I have been very grateful on some occasions. Like there was once when I wrote a review of a book that I really liked, and I'd really shamefully misgendered the author in my review of it, and the author just sent me like a quick message being like, thank you for your review, but just so you know, that is not my gender. And so then I corrected and apologized, and so I was really happy that the author responded to my review and that way, and to be corrected in that way. But if somebody just disagrees with how my interpretation of a book or how I felt about it, then that feels like, well, that's not really anything to do with you and shouldn't be involved. So I'm trying to not now that I've like watched that video about Tara on Stringfall, I'm trying not to let that affect how
definitely.
I feel about the book itself. But it's kind of hard not to in some cases.
Especially when you've got like a one-on-one. Sorry.
Reading's just so subjective. I mean, what one person loves, another person will hate. And I mean, me and Jennifer, who's in the comments, have an ongoing thing about all her 1-star books or my 5-star books and vice versa, because we have completely polar opposite tastes, and that's the beauty of reading, right?
Yeah,
and
absolutely.
we all view things through a different lens, don't we? And sort of bring our own interpretations to books, and that's one of the joys of reading for me. So
I think if authors don't understand that, they probably don't read.
Yeah, it's true.
Yeah,
it's the reality.
Yeah, and it feels really like worrying. Like, do authors really want to create this environment where readers feel nervous about like responding about how they honestly feel about a book? Like we're not allowed to have those conversations. Then that seems to be really suppressive and bad. Now I don't agree with people if somebody reads a book, really hates it, gives it 1 star, and then tweets that at the author and is like throwing that in like that's just really rude. But
yes, agree.
But if you're just expressing your opinion to your other reader friends online, like we all do, then that's, you really shouldn't get involved unless you're prepared to detach yourself personally from that experience.
Exactly. I'm gonna quickly go and have a look in the comments again. I think someone's right. I'm gonna. Do we show Kit's one? I don't know. Currently reading. Yeah, you said this one. Sorry. I think that's sorry. Right. Here we go. We'll go down into the new comments. I showed this one already. I think I have. I'm sorry. Yeah. Sometimes it's hard to tell with all the comments. Who said this one? Did we say this one? Have we said this one? Is there a least favourite from the books you've read? I don't know whether we have asked you this.
Oh no. You haven't asked me. What would be my least favourite? I mean, it doesn't mean anything bad, even if it's your least favourite, obviously. Yeah. Probably least favourite would be Cursed Bread, just because I felt really mixed about it, and still there were aspects of it I did really like, but I was just kind of thrown by the whole historical context of it, and wish that it had like approached that in a different way, or kind of shown more of that history, or just like completely invented entirely different situation rather than trying to ground it in this historical period. I think it's really interesting how the novels The Marriage Portrait and Cursed Bread approach this like grounding their fiction within a historical story in the complete opposite ways, and that Maggie O'Farrell begins the novel by saying this is based on a real character, a real person, Lucrezia de Medici, and this is my invented story of her life. Whereas Cursed Bread, it only tells you at the very end that there was this incident that happened in a French village where a number of people were poisoned, and all these things occurred. So I thought that's so interesting, how in writing a historical novel to present it from the beginning as in this is based on a real incident, whether you tell readers that at the beginning or the end. And I'm not sure what effect Sophie McIntosh was trying to create by putting that at the end, but then that, because I went into it not realizing that it was based on this historical incident. And so then when I got to the end, I was like, oh, but so what actually happened in this village? And now I feel like there are all these details that I've, and I know like it's not entirely known what did happen there. And that's not even necessarily the point of the book. It's not, I think she wasn't trying to explain or give an explanation of it, but then, yeah, it kind of like threw me and so took me out of the experience a bit. So
yeah, because honestly, I'm with you on this because I read it. It's like the girls would tease me for this because of how I feel about it. Because I just found it. I just found it because I was expecting. I think it's because I was expecting it to be like you said, this book about this historical event, this kind of like this mystery, and it's not about that at all. It's just not about that. And when you find out, like you said, when you find that out at the end, that all that stuff, it's just like I'm really, really horrible, but I found it really boring. I'm really sorry. It just didn't work for me. Like I can see, I don't think it's a bad. You can tell she's a good writer. I definitely think that. But it's just, yeah. I shouldn't have carried on reading this book because it was just. Anyway, the girls always speak for it because I call it boring, Fred. Sorry, anyone.
It's tricky, I think, with like, especially with short books like that, you feel like, oh, well, it's not very long, so I might as well just finish it, even if you're not enjoying it.
And I was like, and also like, and it's another lot of unlikable characters, which actually there's quite a lot of books on this list with unlikable characters. I think we'll all agree, wouldn't we? But it was just like. It wasn't enough to sort of make me. I wanted more from the plot. I thought that the plot was going to go off on this tangent that it just didn't ever do, and I was just like, oh, so much potential. I think that's probably what frustrated me more. The girls. So girls, what's your least favourite book from the list so far?
I think we know.
Eric doesn't know, so you can say.
I don't know, Alice. I might be speaking out of turn, but I think. Pod.
Wow. I'm going to actually disagree. I think I dislike Glory more than I dislike Pod.
Oh, actually, yeah. You're right. I didn't even finish Glory.
I know it was your second favourite, Eric, but yeah, I wasn't a fan of Glory. But I didn't read it for this. I read it for the BookTube prize before it was announced. But I just, it's just not my cup of tea at all. But I think it was because the story was so political, and it's just not something that really, really interested me, and I didn't particularly get on very well with the animal characters. But I can see what the author's doing with it, but I just didn't personally particularly appreciate it. And I think it's a bit of one of those books where you either love it or hate it, and I didn't love it. So
that's fair enough. Yeah, and I think I would have felt the same way about the sort of political aspects of the book if it wasn't for the shift that occurs sort of like halfway through when you suddenly get a character that's returned to the country after having been away, and then it becomes or I felt it became for me like a much more personal story, and then I felt like I was like into it in a way that that got me out of just all those representing all the many different voices of the people in the country.
I did enjoy the second half a lot more, and I think you're right about that turning point, definitely. And I think there were two particular moments in the book where I just really, really admired the writing and thought this is really, really powerful stuff. But at the same time as doing that, it still just didn't work for me, sadly.
And Jem, do you agree? Are you sticking firm with Pod being your worst?
Well, I didn't finish Glory, so I feel like it's a little unfair for me to judge it at the bottom. It wasn't my favourite, but yeah, no, dolphin porn. I don't need that many fish penises in my books. it was just too much. The sexy clams. There's sexy clams.
Oh.
We've had a bit of a traumatic week, buddy reading pod.
we read this together. There's some. If anyone read our WhatsApp thread, they'd think we'd actually lost our minds from some of the comments. But no, just no. It really didn't work for me. So yeah, I feel like I shouldn't say any more because I really disliked it. So yeah.
I'll
So
head
I'm
to the
correct in not prioritizing that.
yeah.
I put that one at the bottom.
It's another one where there is one really, really outstanding character for me, and I think that if the book had been more about that character, it had so much potential to be a better book, although it would have had to have a lot less ocean-based sex in it to be a better book as well for me. But that character, I just absolutely loved him so much, and I think so much more could have been made of that character.
Yeah,
interesting. And had you both read The Bees?
No,
I don't think either of us have read The Bees.
Oh,
I
okay.
haven't read these, no.
So I'm still interested to read it because I know that's had a lot of good reviews, and I haven't seen any positive reviews for Pod yet. So so maybe The Bees was just a better novel. But yeah, I don't know. I don't need that much sexual assault in my books, and I don't think it was very sensitively handled. So yeah.
I was pleased I DNF'd that one.
Yeah, you definitely were right to DNF that, Charlie.
I'll just quickly look at the comments quick before we talk about what you're currently reading, Eric. So we've got finished The Dog of the North today. Felt like I'd been running after someone whose body and mind was running over 100 miles an hour. Not the strong and laughing woman that I thought it would be. Oh, okay, that's interesting. Have you read The Dog of the North yet, Eric? Sorry.
I haven't. I did read her previous book that was listed for the Wins Prize and really enjoyed that, The Portable Dublin. But yeah, so I'm really looking forward to Dog and North.
I just started it today. I've only listened to like a chapter, so I haven't got any commentary on it. But yeah, I was again the audiobook. I'm audiobooking it. So I don't think the girls haven't read it, Dog of the North yet, have you?
Not yet, no.
Not yet.
So we've got Pod, where to start. Yeah, exactly. I think quite a few of us agree with this. I don't think we've got anyone that's actually read it and loved it. Have we? Have we got anyone that's come on the chat before?
Not that we know of.
Not
So
Let us
far.
know if you loved Dolphin.
No, Kieran from KD Books, he's always on here wanting. He hasn't read it, but he's been trying to get everyone to read it. At one point, Eric, he wanted us to call this like chat and the whole show the Plodalong, not.
He's so mischievous.
I want him to read it so that he can tell us what he actually thinks. Challenge you, Kieran, if ever you're watching in the future.
Yeah, I think you should be forced to read the entire thing live online.
Oh, that would
Do a
be
video,
hilarious.
see?
I would
Eric,
actually like reread it if Kieran was reading it to me.
Yeah.
Eric
Same.
we've all challenged you. We put it out into the universe now for Kieran. So
Yeah, there's your challenge, KD Books.
I'm glad Eric liked Glory so much, as I'm a quarter of the way through and I'm going to read more tonight. It has to be at the library by Friday. Oh, good luck, Sarah.
Crack on, Sarah. Crack on.
I should say too, I did read it by listening to the audiobook of Glory. So that might have affected my experience of it because it's really wonderfully narrated, and so yeah, I was just able to get into the whole flow of the book.
And did you like dedicate some proper time to it as well? Because I always think when you've got some proper time to sort of dedicate to it, I feel like that gets you into like an audiobook better. Or...
Yeah, I mean, I kind of listen to audiobooks when I'm like folding laundry or like cooking or something. And so doing, these kind of mindless chores, and and I found myself like really sucked into it that way. So I did just kind of, or going like on a long walk. So I think I listened to most of it while like going on a walk around the park, and so yeah, it was good for that.
That's really good. Yeah, so Kit said spilling the tea. Then we've got love getting the goss from Eric.
Yes.
We've got that's so rude. Yes, we agree. It was very rude. That's honestly, I've got toddlers that come to my library that behave better than that. That's just terrible.
Exactly, Ange. Exactly.
Yeah, don't disrespect our Eric. That's Ange. We love Ange. Ange is one of our faves. We love Ange.
I mean, I hope it doesn't like spark like a pile-on on the
No.
I don't not at all. It was
I don't think I get enough people watching me to get any pile-on to anybody. You're fine. Don't worry, Eric. Seriously.
Just caught her in a bad moment.
Yeah, exactly. Hearing that story, I'm so pleased I do an F-pod. Yes, exactly. So we've got, I think authors need to remember that they don't like, yeah, exactly, that they don't they like every book that they read and that it's not personal. Reviews are for readers, not authors.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Yes, yes.
Hey, amen to that. I DNF the bees. Now Layla and Paul can come after me.
Woohoo!
Okay, I'll just do a couple more comments. I met Ali Smith and she was lovely.
She is the most wonderful person. Yeah, just I adore her so much. She's like so lively, so inspiring. Every time I meet her, she's just like full of like life and positivity, and she's the most wonderful person.
So now we said about like the bad things. Like who are some of your favorite? Because we've got you here, we might as well ask you. Who are some of the favorite people that you've met that you're not like friends with out of the authors? That are your best experiences you've had with authors? Sorry.
So no, it's a good question. I mean, Ali Smith is like so wonderfully positive and encouraging. I can show you this. She sent me when I moved into this new place 4 or 5 years ago. She sent me like a housewarming present of this lovely picture. It doesn't reflect too much.
Wow.
So this is a pink armadillo, a pink fairy armadillo, and Ali Smith and I have this like weird thing about pink fairy armadillos. It's kind of like her spirit animal, and so like whenever we get together, we start talking about pink fairy armadillos and like random animals. She has this charm bracelet with a little armadillo on it, and yeah, and so she sent me this wonderful print of a pink fairy armadillo, and so like I've known her for for I don't know, at least like 20 years or so now. We like had like met early on at some book event and just got chatting, and she's a fan of Joyce Carol Oates, and I'm like a big Joyce Carol Oates super fan, and so then we've geeked out about writing so much over time, but yeah, just like have like run into each other off and on. And actually, I just saw her last week. Was it at the there was the prize ceremony for the Rathbones Folio Prize, and she was one of the judges for that award. And yeah, and after they did the announcement and stuff, I bumped into her and we like gave each other a big hug, and it's just like it's always so lovely seeing her. I should also say, yeah, another really lovely author I met was actually Sophie McIntosh when her first novel came out, and it was listed for the Booker Prize, and I went to one of like the Booker events, Booker parties, and she was there, and she like very like shyly like came up and like introduced herself and was like, "Hi, I'm Sophie McIntosh. Thank you so much for saying lovely things about my book." And I was like, "Oh wow, it's really nice to meet you." And yeah, and she was just really lovely. There was also, but probably like one of the most instantly nicest and loveliest authors I've met. Oh my gosh, it's terrible. I can't remember her name off the top of my head. It was when there was an author, a crime author, listed for the Booker Prize a few years ago. It was a female crime writer. Was it Belinda? I think her name started with a B. Sorry, this is really boring. I can't remember her name. But she came up to me at another one of these like Booker party things, and was like, "Oh, you're Eric. I really love your content. It's so wonderful." And so we started chatting, and she was just like really nice. And I hadn't read her book. I don't really often read crime fiction very much, and so like her publicist like came up and was like, it's like, "Oh, who is this?" And she's like, "Oh, this is Eric. He's a really great YouTuber and good like online and stuff." And the publicist turned to me and was like, "Oh, well, which of her novels is your favorite novel of hers?" And like I'd never read anything by her, so I was suddenly like caught off guard. But then like the author was really, she's like, "Oh no, he hasn't read me. He wouldn't be into my books, and that's totally fine." And I thought that was just like so nice that she like enjoys my content, and even though she doesn't Charlie got it right. Belinda Bauer, that's her name.
Okay.
She was so lovely. She was just like really nice, and we just like had this like long lovely chat, and there wasn't any like expectations or feeling like, you know, because it can be slightly awkward at going to like events and parties like this where you feel like it's partly like a business thing almost, where people are trying to try to get their book out there and want people to read it and stuff. But I felt absolutely no pressure to read, to feel like I like had to read her book. And so she was absolutely lovely. But also I like completely adore Claire Fuller. She's such a wonderful person. She like I can't really and she's basically like been a friend for several years, and so, but she's also continued being really lovely now that she's like been achieving so much success. And so when she was listed for the Women's Prize, she sent me this really lovely private message like, "I know you always follow the prize and talk about the prize. Please don't feel any pressure that you have to like give special treatment to my book just because we know each other like and have this personal relationship." And which I just thought was like, spoke so well of her as a person, that it's, she realizes that readers have their own opinions. And but I mean, luckily I did really love her novel, and so I was like really happy to be a cheerleader for it. I mean, I've had awkward experiences in the past where authors I've become slightly friendly with, and then they bring out a book which isn't really their best, and then I have to.
That must be so hard. You know so many people in the bookish world, don't you? And you're literally, like you said, you're at the events all the time, so that must be so like awkward. Like,
it's slightly tricky, because I don't want to like diss people like unnecessarily.
You're always really fair though, because I think even when you like give like a review that like isn't like not negative, but like even when you say like not the most positive things, I always feel like you kind of just do it in such a great way. So you just I think you're really fair.
I try to come up with a balanced like view, and I think with most books there will be like some positive aspect of it, or I'll talk about like maybe if they had like you talked about Alice with a character in Pod, like maybe if she'd shown this character more and it had been more about that story, then that might have been a more interesting book, and you can sort of talk about it in that way.
Oh, you're so good, Eric. I can't. I can't control my emotions.
Which is totally fair and fine. I think it's partly because since I like started as an author that I was writing a lot of fiction in my early 20s and stuff, and so I guess feel slightly more like sympathetic to when reading the book, really trying to figure out what the author was trying to do in the book, versus what the actual result was. And they might not have pulled it off well, but I feel like if I can see where they were trying to go, then I can sympathize with it more, and I can sort of try to connect with the book on that level, rather than just having my own personal response. But
I'll just look at some comments. We've got Charlie said, "Oh, the number of times that Charlie and I have disagreed about books is in dozens." That is so true. That's like one of the fun things with your friends, though, isn't it? Like when you when you have debates with your friends about books, that's like one of my favorite things.
Yeah, it's really healthy and good, and like it it's why I love doing so much stuff with books online, because getting so many different people's responses, then it really helps me see what I'm reading in a different way and think about it from a different angle. And you know, I might not agree with other people's opinions, but it helps me to see it in a more well-rounded way or from different points of view.
I always love watching you and Anna when you kind of disagree. I love it when you agree about books. I really love it when you disagree because it's like
yeah, as we mostly agree, but when we don't, then we can come at like our heads a bit.
No, but you again,
really?
it's really good 'cause you do it in a really good way, obviously, because you're good best mates. So you know, this is why I love reading and bookish chat. We all read the same book, but we all read it from our own perspective. Exactly. Right, I know there's been quite a few people that have loved Cursed Bread because Roz from Scanley Dandying About the Books loved
oh yeah,
Cursed Bread, didn't she? Yeah, we met her in real life last week.
Yeah.
Oh great! Oh yeah, she's lovely.
She's so sweet. She's like the nicest person. All right, here we go. Converse to what I posted moments ago when Charlie, Chris, and Cursed Bread is boring bed. I Sorry. But now I feel bad because you said Sophie McIntosh is really lovely, so I feel really terrible.
Oh no.
I definitely would go back to her other book though. So there you go. Cursed Bread for the win. So we've got we've got my least favorite book was I'm a Fan. What have you read? I'm a Fan, and if so, what have you thought of it?
I've not read it, but I'm really looking forward to it because when Anna and I made our predictions video, she was in the middle of reading it and she was really enjoying it. And I've heard really great things about it. Sheena Patel's literary agent, who's called Lucy Luck, which is the best literary agent name I've ever heard. Lucy Luck, what a great name. So I bumped into her at this Rathbones Folio Prize event last week, and she was really encouraging me to read I'm a Fan, and the way she was describing it made it sound like a book I would really love. But I know people have had mixed responses to it, so I'm really curious to see what I'm going to make of it.
Alice has read this. Alice, do you want to say your thoughts on it? Because you've got some thoughts, haven't you?
I feel overall very, very positive about it, but I do think it's a book that's deliberately giving you mixed feelings. So with a sort of not unreliable narrator, but a somewhat unlikable narrator, and I thought it was a really interesting mix of sort of feeling like you want to shout at this character for not being kind to herself and not being kind to others, but equally there's a lot of really, really interesting social commentary in there, which I found so fascinating, and I thought it was really, really well done, that aspect of it. So I think it's a really clever book, a really interesting one.
Yeah. So we just want to check, are you still okay to carry on, Eric, or if you've got to go? Because we don't want to keep talking to you if you need to go.
No, it's okay. I can go on now. Yeah,
just keep okay, because we don't want to just keep talking to you and asking you questions if you don't need to pop up. So so just let us know when you if it gets too much. So I'll have a look. Where are we? All right. So where was I in the comments? I know someone said about down. That's right. Here we go. Sanders comment. We've got, I'm looking forward to getting to glory. So yeah. Anne says, I DNF'd I'm a Fan, but I will go back to it at some point. Yeah. I had mixed feelings. About this book too, but I feel like half of it I loved and then half of it I disliked because of the fact that because of the unlikable characters. But then I think it has been one that stayed with me. So at the moment it's still, even though I finished 11 books / apart from with the 12th book of Pod being DNF'd, it's still in my top 6 is what I mean. So so I do think lots of people, it's divisive, but yeah. See, I'd rather like Glory, not just because of the shift, but I think that Bulawayo has such a cinematic eye when it comes to writing. She begins with the noise and then focuses in.
That's a very good description of it, actually, the noise and then focuses in.
Yeah, it is. It's a good way to put it.
It sounds like that one episode of Family Guy with Ricky Gervais.
I don't watch Family Guy, so
I don't know that episode, so...
Dem's reaction is why I'm reading Pod as I need to read it myself. I couldn't believe it. Yeah.
But that's the thing, isn't it? Like I find often when the books I'm most negative about, those are the books that I get lots of comments saying like, oh, I definitely have to read this book now.
Yeah.
So people get really interested, like, oh, why did you dislike it so much? And am I going to feel the same?
Yeah, exactly. We've got
I
pod.
think-
Oh, sorry, Alice, you go.
I think the all the amounts of DNFing of pods that was happening on the Plodalong was directly responsible for me and Jem continuing to buddy read it for a week.
We wanted to
make
be the
sure we
ones that
found
were
out
like,
what it was
actually,
about.
no, it's worth continuing.
Yeah.
Unfortunately, that was not what happened. But
You're so good that you carried on with it, but I didn't have the patience for it. There was nothing, again, it was nothing in there to kind of grab me. And even though it was very short, I just didn't want to carry on with that one. So, so yeah, good evening. Hi, say hi, everybody. Lena Norms really liked
Oh
Pod.
yeah,
there
she
you
did,
go.
didn't she? Yeah.
Oh, I haven't seen that.
I'll have
so-
to watch that.
Yeah, I'll have to go back and watch that. It's
Yeah,
good,
she
though,
did
'cause
a
it's good.
really fun video about the Women's Prize list and
Yeah.
reading it and trying out books. from
I
it.
think I probably have watched it, but I've watched so many videos about people.
Yeah,
it's
it's difficult to remember who
Yeah.
did how.
It's hard to then remember everyone's thoughts on every single book because there's 16 books, and if you
Yeah.
watch
Mm.
it's easy to forget. So yeah, we've got this one. I enjoyed The Dog of the North. Yay! We've got Rosa says she described it as the overstory, but in the sea. Oh, that's interesting. You've read
the Overstory.
I haven't read the Overstory either.
You've read the overstory, haven't you, Eric?
Yes. Yeah. That was a very uneven book for me, whereas because it's made up of so many different people's stories, there were some stories I liked more than others. But I mean, it's really ambitious, like really fascinating book, but it's a lot.
I think that's one I've DNF'd, being honest. But I haven't got on with Richard Powers' writing, which I'm really, really sorry, because I know, like, Bewilderment, you loved Bewilderment, didn't you?
Did, yeah.
I'm really, really sorry. I just.
He's the loveliest man too. I had a wonderful conversation with him. Did an interview with him about Bewilderment, and yeah, he was just so lovely. But
that's really good. That's good. I won't say anything bad, but I just think, like you said, I just haven't got on with his book personally. But that's fine. Hi all. I know I'm jumping in late, so I probably missed that. That's fine. Don't worry. Hello. Oh, someone's met Ayobami Adebayo. That's cool. Hello, Dad.
That is so cool.
Come up. I've got a kitten trying to come up here. So if you get, you might get a kitten trying to come onto the laptop. So
I've got a cat trying to steal my pen, but yeah, I think I've prevented it so
Has
far.
Harry been sneezing into your laptop? Is that what I've been hearing?
Yes, he has been sneezing, yeah.
I do still have a Spell of Good Things here, and I've been meaning to read it, but since it didn't make the list, it's just like, yeah, it's sort of gone slightly down my TBR pile, but I do still really want to get to it because, yeah, I've heard really great things. So
I've got that on my library app waiting as well. Like you said, I'm trying to complete the list, the Women's Prize long list, and once I've done that, I'm sort of like, then I can go in. Plus, I've got the Trans Girl April books. Sorry if you hear the noise in the background, that's the kittens chasing around. Yeah, I've got Trans Girl April books I'm trying to read as well. So yeah. So anyway, I didn't finish reading what she said. I met Ayobami Adebayo, author of Spell of Good Things, at the recent event. She was so lovely and kind. Sad it's not on the Women's Prize long list. Hoping it's on the Booker long list. Yeah.
Oh, good point. Yeah.
Yeah, definitely could be.
I'm looking forward to reading her spread, despite having heard lots of negative comments. Like, don't worry,
Jennifer loves it. Jennifer loves it.
This is my next one from the library. I have it ready, so hopefully.
And then we'll ask you in a second about, like, because I'm currently reading. So yeah, I've watched that conversation. The Bewilderment. There you go.
Yeah, it was so good to talk to him. Yeah, that interview is like one of the most favorite that I've ever done with an author, because he had just flown into England like the day before, so he's really jet lagged. But he was so articulate and like really wanted to give a like good interview, and was like so like sincere and upfront because he just like feels so passionate about the subject matter. So yeah, it was just really great.
So I'll go over to the so your current reads. You're saying about reading Memphis.
almost finished Memphis, and then I think probably next from the list, and one I've been most wanting to get to since it was announced was Wandering Souls, and I've just heard such great things about it. Yeah,
that's my favorite from the list so far. I know, like, I love Demon Copperhead, but Wandering Souls is my favorite. Then it's Demon Copperhead. So
okay, exciting.
So yeah, which of the international bookers are you currently reading any of the international bookers as well?
I'm almost finished reading this novel called Is Mother Dead by Vigdis Hjorth. I like pronouncing her name, Vigdis Hjorth, because she's Norwegian, and so this novel is about a woman who's a famous artist who's lived outside her native Norway for 30 plus years. She had a break with her family and kind of like left a bad husband and a job, and then just became an artist, married the man that she really loved, moved away, and her family kind of rejected her because she pursued the things that they disapproved of this man and profession as an artist. And so in the novel starts when she just returns to her native Norway, and having not spoken to her mother for many years, and she starts almost like stalking her mother, basically, kind of like parking outside her apartment building and following her around as she goes to church, and trying to make contact with her. Like, she tries to call her, but her mother doesn't answer when she sees that it's her that she's calling. And it's about this very like tense family relationship, and it's apparently very close to the author's own life, because the author's previous novel was about a difficult family dynamic, which was apparently very autobiographical, and then the author's family really reacted badly to this novel, and so much so that the author's sister even wrote her own like counter novel to this novel that she wrote about the family life. And so I think this is very like personal subject matter, and it's an interesting novel. I don't think it's like my favorite from the list so far, but as it's gone along, I've got a bit more into it.
What? I know, because can we ask you about what your favorite? I know we're doing Women's Prize, but can I ask you what's your favorite from the international book so far? I saw your recent review, so is it going to be?
Yeah, it probably would be The Birthday Party by French author Laurent Mauvignier. I love saying foreign names because I'm so bad at it. I'm really bad at it.
I think you pull it off really well, actually.
Because when that author was first listed, and I pronounced it like Monvignier, and then my husband, who speaks French a bit and is much better at accents, he's like, no, that's completely wrong. And so he's been trying to correct me, but I don't think I'm saying it right still. But that novel's great. It's the way it like builds this sense of tension over the course of the book, but also this sort of message about like people's group mentalities and how dangerous that is. And really fascinating novel, but it has been a book that's been quite divisive. I've seen a number of people that have given up on reading it, but personally I loved it.
That's really good. So you're currently those are the ones you're currently reading. Sorry?
Yeah, I think that is only my fourth one from the International Book Prize. So I have a lot more to go with that, but that's because I when the long list was announced, I hadn't read any of the books yet. Like usually when lists are announced, I'll read at least like 2 or 3 of them, but I just hadn't happened to not have read any of these books, but it makes it exciting to explore all of them.
Yeah, find some new ones. That's really exciting. I want to read Whale from the list because I saw that Charlotte Malloy.
I saw Charlotte's review for that.
That sounds really good. That sounds really, really good.
Yeah, it sounds really imaginative and quite wild.
I'll just go to the comments. A Spell of Good Things has so many layers if you listen carefully. Oh, that's interesting. Wandering Souls for the win. Wish this could influence the international policymakers. Yeah.
Interesting.
Oh, we've got the Queen of DNF. A DNF birthday party. So Jem, you'll definitely
Yes, it's gonna be a 5-star read.
birthday party sounds fantastic. I saw your review of it. Yeah. I'll link that. People watching in the future, I'll link it in the description. Not even everyone would have watched it already, but I'll do it anyway. I like to do things like that.
Thank you.
Jennifer loves books. What turned you off of it? Oh, here we go. I love my Fitzcarraldo annual subscription. Oh, that sounds like a nice treat, doesn't it? It's my favorite self-care treat, yeah, as always, to get to read an award nominations.
Yeah, they're such good publishers.
Yeah.
I did look at the subscription the other day, and I was like, "No, Gemma, you have enough books that you haven't read."
Have you got a subscription to it, or do they just send them all to for free? You don't have to say this. You don't have to say this.
Me. No, I don't have a subscription to it. They actually they haven't been sending me many of their books recently for review. I don't know why that is. So yeah, the ones I have from the international booker list, I only have because the prize sent them all to me. So like it's that like dilemma thing where like I do really love a lot of the books that they publish, but then I get like sent so many other books, and so then I feel like oh, I don't really need to give myself more books to read, and so like I mean, obviously I still buy books when I'm really interested in reading a particular book, but yeah, in terms of like signing up for a subscription or something, like I feel like that's just kind of giving myself too much to
honestly
to read.
Be gentle on yourself. You do enough as it is, don't you? So
And it can be disappointing sometimes, because I got a subscription once to Tilted Access Press, who are a really great publisher. But then like I subscribed to I did their like subscription thing. But then what they did was they just sent me their entire back catalog from the past year, rather than sending me new books that were coming out. And some of those books I'd actually already had. So I thought that was like a really weird thing that they just sent me all their like past books, rather than the new things that were coming out. So that was strange.
Bit of a wasted opportunity. So girlies, which one are you currently reading? Do you want to say which books you're currently reading?
I'm currently listening to Stone Blind. I managed to finish between our last plod and now. I nearly said pod. I finished pod and I finished Children of Paradise, which I enjoyed more than pod. And yeah, so next up I've got either one of these two. Got Bandit Queens and Cursed Bread from the library, but I haven't started one yet because I've started too many books, so I'm holding back and sticking with Stone Blind at the moment.
Got to be gentle to yourself, haven't you, Alice? And how about you, Jem? What are you currently reading?
So I finished pod at the weekend, so I'm going to crack on with Demon Copperhead. Me and Alice started reading Crime and Punishment at the weekend, so I feel like I really don't need any more books on my
Yeah, those are two giant ones to have on the
go. I need to finish something before I pick up anything else.
I've just finished Fire Rush this morning, so this afternoon.
What did you think?
Right, I liked it. I did really like it. I just feel like she's trying to do a lot of things. Like the first part, like was a 5-star read kind of thing. Like the first section is 100% a 5-star read. I think the girls like agree with me. I know they're nodding. But I just feel like then there's like all these other things that she adds in, and that's not an issue. But I feel like it's like the way like the steps in between. It just felt really. I know you said it in your video. Like I'm sure you said clunky. Like I think there's bits and I do agree. I just think it felt a bit clunky in places, and it just I liked it, but it could have just it's just so close, but so
I feel like the voice of it and the whole overall message of it is so effective, but in like plot wise, it sort of goes off and in slightly overly dramatic ways that I felt like it didn't need to do
I
that.
think it's hard to do too much in one novel. I think she's got like almost 4 novels worth of ideas, and she's tried to cram it into one book.
Yeah.
Because Jen made an interesting point. You were saying about the 4 novels. It was like if those books, those themes, if we would have got a book about each bit, that would have been like they're 5-star reads, aren't they? Like those stories, but yeah, it just felt like she's rushing from one like element to the next element to the next element, and you can see the mechanics. It's not seamless. That's what it is. It's not seamless. It's just
right. Yeah.
I can't wait to see what she does next, though, because I think obviously that was her debut, wasn't it? So strong debut novel.
Yeah, really promising writer.
And I liked what you said about when you said it was vibrant. That's definitely true. I definitely think it's vibrant. 100%. I agree with you.
I loved the voice of it, and I loved the sort of rhythm and the language that was used, particularly early on. That was what really got me into it, and I think the narrator is wonderfully matched on the audiobook. That really I think it's such a strong audiobook. Some music in there as well. I felt it was very lyrical at times in the way it is written. I really liked it in that way.
I agree with you. The audiobook's amazing. The audiobook's really good. It's a brilliant listening experience. I'll just head to the comments. We've got Anne said, I was trying to be good, and now I'm adding the international book of books to my list. Although you've influenced
more.
Everything bad influence.
Give up work, just read.
To be fair, like the way you were talking about those books, I was like, oh, I'm just definitely going to have to.
There's so many good
I mean,
ones.
sleep is so overrated. We don't need to sleep, do we?
Overrated.
Exactly. Then we've got Kieran saying pod.
There he is.
Oh, Kieran.
Honestly, Kieran, so many times we've all nearly now said, like Sunday, I think I said, we're trying not to call it the Plodalong. Just don't call it the Plodalong, because he's got in our heads.
I hope Kieran has heard what his challenge is.
Oh,
Do your live reading, Kieran. Read it all live online. I want to see it all. Your every moment by moment reaction to every line of that book.
Oh my, that was literally hilarious. A bit, because he did it with Twilight, didn't he?
You've been set a challenge, Kieran. If you're watching, you need to do it with the Plodalong. Nearly said Plodalong. The Plodalong has set you a challenge. Eric has set you a challenge. We're setting you a challenge to read pod on the internet, and we can see your reactions. There you go.
You can really get into it. You can dress up as the different sea creatures and
I bet he has a dolphin costume at home.
This needs to happen. This needs to happen.
I want to see his sexy clam.
Sexy clam.
He would be such a good sexy clam.
I mean, honestly, how can you refuse, Kieran? Seriously.
Did anyone see Kieran's review of Glory where he wore the horse's
the horse mask?
face?
I think we've spoken about this in the previous chat
before.
before.
It's so funny. If I'm having a down day, I'll just go watch that review.
Yeah. It's the best thing ever. So we've got I love Crime and Punishment, and I have the same translation as you, Alice. I think you will enjoy it as a crime lover.
It's one of my all-time favorites, so yeah.
Oh, that's
good to hear.
We're still early doors.
It's very early days for us, so just getting into the meat of the story now, I think.
Yeah. Just added it to my Instagram story if anyone wants to watch him. There you go. So future me will put it in the description as I did last video. Okay, that's it. All right. So thank you so much for has anyone else got any questions for Eric, or you can carry on and join us if you wanted to go. Anyone got anything else you want to ask Eric? Oh, here we go. Got some more comments coming up. I see I've said it and now everyone's going to start commenting. It's a little bit slower. Let's see. We've got Kieran about to be booktube.
Yes, please. That's what we need.
That is what we need in the booktube community.
I'll be Prince Eric, and Karen can be Ariel.
There you go. That sounds amazing. The images of Kieran, I don't need.
comedy gold, though. It would be comedy gold.
I think it would be amazing. And like he would get a set. He would, it would just be
Really into it.
I've got expectations now. So if Kieran doesn't do a pod review dressed as Ariel from the Little you're not going to be really disappointed.
So after after Memphis, Eric, what have you got? Like, what are you eyeballing up next from the long list?
Yeah, I think Wandering Souls. Yeah, I think that'll be like my top. That and I'm a Fan are probably my top priorities. Yeah, so to get to soon, hopefully.
Excellent.
Cross fingers. I probably should go soon because I know my husband is waiting in the next room. We've only just got into watching Happy Valley recently, which I know everyone else has been like all like raving about.
I haven't seen this yet, and I keep getting told to watch it.
It is so good. Yeah, we're really into it now.
Thank you so much for joining us. We're so lucky and grateful to have you. Like, you've been amazing, like as we knew you would be.
That's really nice of you to say. No, this has been wonderful. Yeah, it's really great to chat.
And thank you for like being a good sport with the challenge and everything like that. Like,
yes,
honestly, I know we sprung it on you, and I always feel bad for every single guest that comes on every week.
No, it was fun. Did my best.
Yeah, thank you so much.
Thanks, Eric.
Yes, I'm looking forward to following your reading journeys as we get through more of the list.
And we'll keep you updated on how on the leaderboard. Who if anyone can.
Yeah, I can keep my bronze.
Yes.
We hope it, crossing fingers. I don't think anyone's going to beat Jennifer. Jennifer got 22.
Yeah, that's amazing.
Jennifer
really
has done a commanding lead.
If you would have watched it, honestly, it was crazy. She was amazing. She was. It was just.
I don't know how anyone could have so many books in their head at the same time.
Yeah.
I would definitely not be able to get 22.
It was crazy.
Really
so thank you so much for joining us. We're so grateful, like I said. So yeah, hope you have a lovely evening with the rest of your evening with your husband. Enjoy watching Happy Valley.
Enjoy Happy Valley.
Okay, thank you.
Oh, thank you.
Bye for now.
Bye, everyone. Say goodbye to Eric. Bye.
Bye, everyone.
Bye. Aren't we so lucky?
That was so cool.
That was like the best thing ever. So people have just been commenting. Should we do it? Are we going to have a chance to do a little? Should we do a little reading sprint, or what are you
Should
girls
we
doing?
do one?
Yeah, we can just do one. So should I put the should I put the timer on, Alice? Everyone will do a 20-minute one, and then we'll just have one 20-minute one, and then we'll round up the chat, and then we'll finish at 10 o'clock. So is that all right for everybody?
Yep. You want me to do a 20-minute, yeah?
Yeah, is that all right?
Yeah, it's ready if you want to put it up, and I will press go.
Stream. Oh, there you go.
Okay, happy reading.
Sorry. So how did you guys get on?
Well, I got Charlie back to sleep.
Oh, I'm sorry. I'm so sorry.
No, it's not your fault, is it?
I got distracted by kittens, which is the best kind of distraction, really.
I wondered what you were smiling about. I thought, what book is she reading? But maybe you were playing with kittens.
So there's one point. So this is like if the people that are watching, I'm at my sister's house, and I'm on I'm on a bed as Charlie likes to be, and there's like a little place behind me where one of the kittens is trying to like jump up between in the gap in between the bed, and she couldn't get up, so she was like a bit distracting. So
I had cat distractions as well. Harry was trying to do my hair, so I had to take him for his dinner.
Duck o'clock.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, what was his dinner?
It was lamb again, actually. It was not duck today. He's very fond of the lamb one.
Potatoes.
Despite the fact that Gemma's taught him the word duck, he's quite happy with lamb.
That's so cute. How everyone that's watching, how are you getting on with your books that you're reading? Let us know how you're getting on. So I'll just go to the chat quickly, and then we'll start to. Oh, I've just heard this. Oh, I've just heard Book Depository is closing. Oh no!
I heard that today. Yeah.
Oh, I didn't know that. Oh, that's really sad. Especially because, internationally, it's just so important. It's like an important one, isn't it? Just to be able to, if you've got friends across the waters, it's good because you've got the free delivery, and that's really sad. These are images of Kieran. I don't need in my head. That's really funny. Everyone's giving love to Eric, because obviously Eric was amazing.
He was amazing.
As we knew he would be. He was just lovely, lovely, lovely. Thanks, Eric. Looking forward to your thoughts on some of these books I haven't been read yet. Yeah. Sarah said he's the loveliest. We all agree. Jennifer said, "Oh, she's had to go. Oh, well, future Jennifer, if ever you, I don't think you will be, but bye, Jennifer." I read some more pod now on Straight. How are you getting on with it, Ange? Let us know. What are your thoughts on it? Because if other people are loving it, maybe there's something wrong with us. Maybe we're in the minority.
Charlie, I've read the whole book, and I can confirm that I don't think we're in the minority. I really, really want to speak to someone who loves pod, but I don't know where to find them.
We should have been messaging Lena. We should need to message Lena Norms. Be like,
yeah,
oh, Lena, get on our chat.
Yeah,
with an invitation. We've got so Imogen said started pod yesterday and up to chapter 9. Oh, how are you finding it? Let us know how you're finding it. Edward is saying rereading the Martin Standard biography of Muriel Spark. We know Edward loves Muriel Spark, so this does not surprise me. And also, Edward, I want you to read Cursed Bread so you can come and tell us what you think of it, because I think this is a book that no, is it Cursed Bread? Is it Cursed Bread? I'm sure is one that Edward's excited for. I'm sure that he said that. I'm reading Trespassers, which I ordered from Book Depository, and I'm loving the book though. That's good.
Oh, that's good.
That's good.
You did love the end of it, didn't you, Jem?
I wouldn't say love. The end of it gave me an appreciation for the book. It just wasn't my thing. It was just too slow. And yeah, for me.
Yeah, that's fair. Have you? Is that one you haven't got to that one, have you yet?
No, I'm waiting for the library to get that in. But it was one of those situations with the library where I thought, should I request the ones that are already exist in the library system, or they seem to be ordering in new ones, which I assume was the new paperback that's just recently come out. So I thought I'd wait for that one. So I've got it on my reservations, but it's not here yet.
Page 120 of Glory. I'm intrigued that Alice said that it switches up a bit halfway through. Yeah, there's a character that arrives, which I won't say the name of it, but there's a character that arrives. I don't know what page. I feel like it might be 135. I feel like you're really close to the character arriving, isn't she?
How do you know this?
Just because I remember me and Charlie had in-depth conversations about, if Charlie's still here, in-depth conversations about Glory, and I feel like I was like waiting for this page to arrive, and I'm sure Charlie's like, it's about 130. I'm sure Charlie said this.
I feel like the whole time that I was reading Glory, you were saying to me, "Oh, about halfway through, you'll meet this character. Everything will be okay from then on." And I was like, "Come on, this character."
Remember when she arrives. When she arrives, that's when the plot sort of changes a bit. Yeah. I still don't know how I feel. Oh, Anne still doesn't know how she feels. That's fair.
I think who was it said in the comments that it Charlie who said that she like starts with the noise and then focuses in. I think that's
that was Charlie that said that. Yeah, he said that.
Such a good description.
Yeah, he's good like that with books. Right. Enjoying pod so far. Not sure where it's going, but not put off yet. That's good. Do you know what? Good. You might enjoy it. Like from the off, I didn't like it, so you never know. But whilst before I get to the next comment with Ellen, I'm just going to put along the bottom because I think I'm just going to scroll down my banners. Banners don't scroll down in the same way that the comments scroll down, do they?
Okay. I wouldn't like to say I was having so much trouble with the technology on Sunday.
Oh, here we go. I've got it.
Oh dear, I don't know what's going to move me.
Hold this on screen on the bottom banner for the next pod, so you guys will all know when the next pod is. Pod. Oh my god, I said pod.
Plod.
For the next plod. So the next plod, before I get to the next comment, is over on Alice's channel on Sunday the 16th at 3 p.m. BST. And our special guest is Shelley Swearingen, and I'll link that, which is very, very exciting. And we're going to link that in the description.
I can't wait to find out how much Shelley will have caved on her decision not to read a lot of these books. I bet she will have got some more.
It's going to be really interesting.
But yeah, we've got a weekend off for the Easter weekend, haven't we? And then we're back.
Yeah, we've got a bit of a gap, people, but we will be back. So. And then
Give everyone a chance to actually read some books.
Yeah, I was going to say, then we've got more to talk about then, haven't we?
Yeah.
Ellen says, I'm reading Memphis. I wouldn't expect it to make the shortlist, to be honest, but let's see. Yeah. I think a lot of us feel like that about Memphis. Have you girls read Memphis? I can't remember if you've read it.
Not yet.
No, not yet.
Yeah. Don't tell me the end. No one's telling any spoilers. We haven't given any spoilers.
The end of what? Pod?
Yeah, we didn't say any spoilers. No, we haven't given any spoilers, so you're fine.
Oh, Trespassers. Yeah, no. It just pulls it together nicely.
Yeah, that's not spoilers.
Well, once you get to it, you'll know what I mean.
Yeah. I think that in lots of people reviews, you're not the only one that said that, Jem. So loads of people have said that about how that happens with the end. So yeah. If you haven't finished them all before the shortlist is announced, will you abandon the rest of the long list that you haven't read out of interest? That's a good question, Sarah.
No, I want to read the whole long list, and there's no way I'm going to read it before the shortlist is announced. So I will try and still read all 16 by June or whatever.
I'm Alice, you say?
I would like to read the whole long list. I definitely don't think it'll be done in time for that, but I don't think there's a book left that I have so many reservations about that I would bother to not read it. Like if it doesn't make the shortlist. I mean, being honest, when things don't make the shortlist, if I've got a lot of the shortlisted books left to read, obviously I'm going to read the shortlisted ones first.
Yes.
But like, I do think some of the ones I've already read will definitely be on the shortlist if I was predicting them. But there's nothing, I don't think, in my last 8 that I've got left that I definitely don't want to read at the moment. I may DNF some, I don't know.
Yeah, I don't know, because if Pod makes the shortlist, I'm not going to go back to it. I'm sorry, I just can't do it.
Yeah, I'm not going back to Glory if it makes the shortlist.
I've only got 4 books left, and I'm currently in the middle of 2 of them. Is that correct? No.
So you'll probably finish before the shortlist, isn't it?
Yeah, I should be. Yeah, I think I've got.
Me and Alice will be plodding on.
Yeah.
I'll go to my little notes, and I think
I've read 7 now. And when I finish Stone Blind, I'll be halfway. Then I've got these 2 from the library. So that'll be 10.
Do you have any inkling which one you'll head towards, Bandit Queens or Cursed Bread?
I'm thinking of saving Bandit Queens and reading Cursed Bread first, because Cursed Bread just looks so nice and short. And I'm always tempted by a short book. And also, out of the two, I'm more excited. I am excited for both of these, but I'm more excited for Bandit Queens. So I'm going to try and save the best for last. I am that sort of person.
No, that's really good. I think that's the best way.
But then I think audio-wise, I'm going to head to Wandering Souls next. So then that will be, 11. Can't remember what the last 5 are, but it will just depend what order they come from the library.
Yeah, that's fair.
Yeah.
How about you, Jem? Do you know where you'll go next after your ones you're currently reading?
No. So, I'm going to finish doing Copperhead next.
Yeah.
That will take me to 7 read, 1 DNF'd. So then I've got 8 left. And yeah, it just depends on when they come into the library.
Yeah.
I think I'll do The Dog in the North next on audio.
Yeah. That's fair.
Yeah.
We've got a question from Sarah. She said, when is Kieran coming on? I've just got the date on my phone. It is the Tuesday, the 2nd of May, and he's going to be appearing in an evening live show again. So that's exciting. We can't wait.
Maybe we can get Kieran to do a bit of a preview of the live reading.
Oh, yeah.
Maybe we should get him to come dressed as a dolphin.
Neither of those things. We could get him to read like a sample and then doing an
animation. We might get kicked off of YouTube.
Yeah, we might.
Oh no, yeah. Oh my god.
Maybe Kieran should save that for his channel.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's fair enough. So you said,
that book is pretty obscene.
No, we don't want those kinds of
things. No, I won't tell you. Aliens land and monsters roam through Belfast.
I would be super surprised if there were aliens in Trespassers.
Yeah. There's loads. Green ones.
Oh, that sounds insane. I better start that one.
We'll just finish up with this last comment. I'm hoping there is something wrong with my e-reader app, as it says I'm at 13%. I've got 30. No, that can't be right.
How slowly are you reading that book?
You said you were on chapter 8, and I'm sure there was 36 chapters. Yeah, 35. No, 34 chapters, I think.
You must be near the end.
Maybe 34.
Not near the end, but not that far from the end, I wouldn't say.
Unless you're reading real slow.
Have you girlies got anything more to add? People in the comments, have you got any more questions or anything more you want to talk about? And then we'll kind of we'll be slowly saying goodbye now. So have you got anything else you want to add, Alice? Any final thoughts for today's?
I did a bit of reading of Crime and Punishment, and I still haven't finished my chapters for the day, which is actually yesterday's chapters, because Sandy's kindly paused for us. So we're not doing too well.
No, me either. I've read one of the 3 chapters from yesterday.
You. Oh, you guys will catch up. You guys are amazing. Jem, have you got any final thoughts? Anything else you want to say for today's video, today's live?
No, I feel a bit sleepy. My brain's not in gear.
You've done really well. Thank you everyone for joining us. Thank you for watching. Thank you to Eric again for Eric for joining us. It was just amazing. It was like the most fun thing ever. We're so lucky. Yeah. Oh, the next Plodalong is on the screen, Edward. It is Sunday the 16th at 3 p.m. on BST on Alice's channel, and our special guest will be Shirley Swearingen. So yeah. Take care, everybody. We'll see you soon. See you then. Have a happy Easter,
everyone.
Have a happy Easter.